Good morning, everybody. I think I'm on live right now. I'm checking to see if that is the case. So if you're hearing me chitter chatter here, at least I'm not cussing like I was yesterday morning. I inadvertently found out that I was doing that. I nearly laughed my sides off. I can't tell. Oh my goodness. How do I tell if I'm live or not anymore? I mean, obviously I know I'm alive, but am I live? I guess I have to depend on Zoom for that. And yes, it says I'm live. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to Living Astrology with Janet Hickox. Grab your cup of coffee or your tea, sit back, because we have a lot to chat about this morning as it's Friday. I hardly notice the days changing anymore, though, because, you know, my days used to be punctuated by the 5 days that my husband would go to work, and then I would be working, and then it was the weekend. We had 2 days to rest, relax, or play, or do other things, and then it was Monday. But now they're all sort of bleeding into each other. And in my wildest fantasy dream life, this is how life really works, right? To me, it's all about how we get to just dream from day to day and not have to have that plan of action, even though plans are good sometimes. So welcome to all of you this morning joining me. And let's see what it is that we're going to talk about today. The main theme of today's show is going to be about facing your inner demons in order to embrace a new reality. And of course, what we're talking about there is Pluto moving into retrograde station tomorrow, actually. And we're talking about it today because I'm not on air tomorrow. So today we're going to be talking about what does that mean? Because Pluto is such an far out there planet. It doesn't really affect us individually in the same way as it affects the collective or the bigger consciousness of the world or of the universe. And Pluto, even though the astronomers tried to demote him and make him less important, really only showed their own hubris in things around power and the struggle for life and death. And indeed, that's what we find ourselves in the midst of here on the planet in this moment, right? These ideas of life and death and the struggle to maintain our old way of being, our old way of life, and the problems that we have with doing that at the moment. Okay, so I'm assuming I'm live here, but I cannot see. Yesterday, I was able to see where I was. And today I don't see myself, so I can't see comments. And let me see if it's live down here. Nope, that's not it. So bear with me here for a second if you are seeing me. Videos. Well, those are all the other videos. Where are the lives? If I go to my home, do I see me? No, I don't. Terry, am I live? Zoom says I'm live, but YouTube does not show me live. And do you see it? Do you see me? Usually it says, there's a little thing that says you're live. And I don't see it. I'm going to view my stream on YouTube. So just guys, if you are, yes, I am. I see myself now. Whew. I thought I got sucked into the twilight zone for a moment. So I now see everybody. I'm going to pause that. There we go. So, okay, we are on, and I see myself now. Good morning to CR Bowles 56, and Sue, right? Sue McCarthy. And good morning to Angela. And it's great to see you. And anybody else that's there that I just haven't seen yet, I'm glad to see you there this morning. So let's get back to our conversation about the planet Pluto. Because every year, of course, Pluto spends about 5 months in retrograde. So it's not like Mercury where he zips in, turns around, goes backwards, zips forward, and then he's done, and then dogs us again a few months later. It's more elongated than that. So Pluto enters retrograde tomorrow, the 25th of April, and is there until October 4th of 2020. So we have a long period of time where we are moving, as most retrogrades do. They take us from the outer world expression of whatever it is that they rule, in this case, fear and transformation and the dark and the underworld and secrets and power and sex and drugs and alcohol, all of those seedier sides of things. And we move that energy from the outer world expression into the inner world, where we then get an opportunity as individuals to let all of those things come up to the surface so that we can see what the contents of our subconscious minds are, right? And it's in that subconscious mind where we have some of the things that keep us from doing what it is we want to do in our lives. So we're going to be dealing with our subconscious patterns and dealing with all of the demons, if you will, the inner things that stop you every time that you come up to burst out into the world, or to take on a new relationship, or to leave that job behind. You face those subconscious demons, and they can be many kinds, right? Fear of failure. We've been dealing with all of those with the earth, the fear of failing in your responsibilities, the fear of the past, the fear of the future, the fear I'm not good enough, the fear of I don't know enough, I'm not adequate to the task, I'm not perfect. All of these different things that come up from the subconscious mind. So we have an opportunity to seek out and transform whatever it is inside that is stopping us from moving forward powerfully, and stopping us from entertaining personal growth, right? Those are the things that we will have an opportunity to deal with. Now, for those of you out there who are always doing this, right? You might have Pluto retrograde by birth, so your natural affinity is to do this processing work and to look deeper inside when things trigger you, or when you see yourself not achieving what it is you wanted to do. You likely are already doing that. For those of you who have Pluto in forward motion by birth, this may be your big opportunity, right? To do your work, right? To do the work on whatever it is that is stopping you. So likely you might need to get closure on something, right? There's always that possibility that we haven't been able to bring closure to something in our lives, a relationship, a job, an opportunity that went awry, or anything, somebody's passing, and we haven't been able to bring closure to it. So this is your opportunity for that. This is also your opportunity to face your hidden self, the part of you that you don't want to see, right? The part of you that you keep swallowing back, the part of you that when you look in the mirror, you go, oh, today's not my day to deal with this, right? So we get a chance to find that, to look at our secrets. What are we holding back? How are we holding back? Why are we holding back? So this is an opportunity then for us to do some healing work. This is a time for us to maybe get some coaching or some counseling, something that might help us merge through those inner demons and to be able to face that new reality. Some of us may be very fearful right now about what the world is going to look like after the stay-at-home orders are over. I know that a lot of people are already talking about that. What happens if, right? What happens when? And are we really safe? And how long before we have a vaccine? And we hear all of these different things that are based in the fear of what happens next. So it's pulling us into that future that doesn't even exist yet. So right now we have this opportunity then to let that kind of slide by and address the inner fear that might be being triggered by those outer world experiences. I hope that makes sense to everybody, because the outer world is literally a mirror, and it is just showing you by your reactions to what is happening in the outer world, by how the outer world events affect you personally. It shows you what is going on within you, right? Because the outer world is just the projection of your part of that you're playing here in the grand illusion that we call life on this planet. Now, often when Pluto turns retrograde, old yearnings awaken within us, reawakening that lost dream, or that one thing that we haven't done, right? I often hear people talk about bucket lists when Pluto is retrograde, and that's because there's that yearning to complete something, or to engage in things that you haven't engaged in before, because the specter of death hangs around us when Pluto is in retrograde. Actually, always with Pluto. And not just physical death, but also all kinds of death, the changing of the planet, the changings within us, the changing in your family dynamics, your work dynamics, etc. So those old yearnings we reawaken and give us an opportunity to do some of those things that we keep putting on the back burner. We'll do that someday. Now, I know circumstances right now have sort of hindered our ability to get out into the world and do the things that we absolutely want to do in the outer world. But maybe it's a great opportunity right now to find growth on the inner planes, right? Where you've been unsatisfied with your own spirituality, or your own awakening, or your own spiritual growth or path forward. This is that opportunity for you to deal with that. Now, also in the outer world, we may see things about power, sex, dramas exposed into the world that kind of burst into our psyche, our psychology, our minds, our world, and we're like stunned by some of those things that get revealed. And that's always possible. Pluto does tend to, I think of Pluto sometimes as that uncle or brother or somebody that comes to Thanksgiving and brings up the one taboo subject that should never be brought up at Thanksgiving, right? In your family, whether it's politics, whether it's sex, or whether it's, somebody that the family doesn't like, or he said, she said stuff, right? Pluto does that. It is not afraid to bring up the past. It is not afraid to make you take the time to review, reflect, and reevaluate the darker nature of things, right? The secret, hidden things that exist in our world, in your own subconscious even. And there's also the possibility that if you embrace this opportunity for these next 5 months, that you end up really coming through a major transformation. Because to me, when I think of this, remember, Pluto is the planet that rules Scorpio. And he's the co-ruler of Scorpio with Mars. And Scorpio is also a sign that has 3 levels of beingness. It has the scorpion level, right? Where the scorpion would rather sting itself, being passive aggressive, than do what it needs to do to face survival, that kind of thing. Then there's the level of the eagle, where once a Scorpio gets what's happening down here on planet Earth with them, they raise up to at least the level of the eagle, where they can see a higher perspective. They see things from the higher realms. And then ultimately, the 3rd level of Scorpio, which is where I believe Pluto comes in powerfully, is at that level of the phoenix. So at the end of these 5 months, like a phoenix, we may be arising from the ashes of what has come before us. And look at the timing for this, right? This is happening in October when we go back to Pluto forward. That is going to be an interesting time. And it actually backdates a bit to August, when the planet Mars, another co-ruler of Scorpio, comes into the sign of Aries, the sign he is the sole ruler of, and begins to square 90-degree challenge to the planets in Capricorn, to the planets in Libra, and to the planets in Cancer. So whatever's happening at that point in time is going to be more exacerbated, because where is Pluto? He is in the sign of Capricorn. So there's going to be this bringing up of the old, the contents of the collective being dumped out, kind of shaken and stirred, and then poured into a new concoction. So by the time we finish out the Pluto retrograde, we are well on our way to seeing the effects of what's happening in the now, right now. So it bears watching the outer world and seeing how these things might be affecting you personally. Now, literally, when first of all, I'm going to go take a look real quick back at YouTube here and see how we're doing. Tom, good morning. Mimi, good morning. Allison, good morning. It's great to see everybody finding me over here. And I love it that we're able to comment without trolls. Yay. And that I can see what's happening rather easily here. And I can also hide it, which I think is fun. So let me see, what does that do? Ooh, aha. Well, okay, that brings me up to some fun little, what do you call those things? Emojis? Go back to the keyboard. Okay, well, hey, that's great. So a little bit later in the broadcast, we're going to be doing some readings for people, just like I would have done on Facebook. So not yet, but when I tell you to, please start telling me that you would like a reading so that I can take that down. And I'm glad to see that I'll be able to find those people that want that. Okay, let me see, am I finished? I want to show you guys now the chart for the day, because then I can show you where it is that all of this action is taking place with Pluto. And this is the time where you need to get out your own personal astrology chart, right? That's going to be helpful here. So get that out and let me share my screen so you guys can see the chart. Oop, share. There we go. So what you should be seeing now is the astrology chart for the day, the chart of the moment. And here is the sign of Capricorn. If you can see my little pink cursor circling around, this is the sign of Capricorn. The letter P is what represents Pluto, or at least that's how I have the symbol noted in my astrology program. There is another symbol for it. And now for the life of me, I can't even think of what it is because I've used this one for so often or for so long. So we have Pluto here. And even though it looks like it's in the mid part of Capricorn, it's not. It's really down here where the tick lines are. And right now he's at 25 degrees. Let me make this screen a little bit bigger. There we go. He's at 25 degrees even of Capricorn, and he will retrograde, which means he's going to be moving backwards from this position at 25 degrees, backwards to only 22 degrees, which is where he will again conjunct Jupiter. And that will be in November, that one, but also be conjuncting Jupiter in June. So we have another kind of coming together and an expansion of a problem that we already have on the planet. This is why we should not be allowing states to lift those stay-at-home orders, because Pluto is really at the foundation of this pandemic, and Jupiter is the magnifier of this infection, right? And of all the responses to that infection as well. So when we have these two coming together, June 30th, all of those places that have been released from that stay-at-home order, you're going to see huge numbers again in those places. So the longer we can wait toward that day, the better off everybody is going to be health-wise. And that's just a fact because we've seen this happen in such a profound way with the initial Jupiter-Pluto conjunction in early April and Pluto and Saturn's conjunction back in January. We see what happens when these big guys come together and they create these titanic changes on the planet. So we don't need to go backwards like that just would not be a good thing, right? We don't want to go backwards. We want to stay healthy, and we want to buy ourselves time. So that's an important thing that's a part of this. Now, for you guys personally, I want you to look to where Capricorn is, the symbol in your natal astrology chart or in a transit chart. It doesn't matter which one you're looking at, and see what planets might be there between about 20 degrees of Capricorn and 25 degrees of Capricorn in your natal chart. If you have planets sitting there, then you will be more personally affected by these very transformational energies during this next 5 months. Those of us who don't have anything really sitting in those degrees of Capricorn will not be as affected. And I know that a lot of us born in 1961 and early 62, we will be affected because we have Saturn sitting in our charts right around there. And we also have another group of people that are in their young 30s that might also have this in their chart. So they may be looking at Saturn connections to all of this, helping them to reap their karmic rewards, or they may be experiencing the opposite, which is of the further breakdown of systems that you've been holding on to and not working through. So depending on what planet it is, depending on what degree it's in. In Capricorn, it will not be how it is that you are affected. By also looking at what you might have in Aries or in Libra in those same degrees, 22 degrees to 25 degrees, or Cancer, that can also tell you how much you will or won't be affected by Pluto retrograde. All right, questions about that? I'm going to go check. How do I do that again? There we go. Let's see. Good morning, Ursula. Your first meeting in person. Well, welcome. We're glad to see you. Angela K says, I have native Mars at 22 Capricorn retrograde. So that indeed may be something that will be affecting you, right? So natal Mars, the actions that you're taking, what do you do in the world? How do you identify in the world? That is going to be the thing that you are going to be looking at during this period of time. What are you doing? And then what house is that in? Because that tells you what area of your life that's going to play out in. There's also a connection during this during this Pluto turning retrograde with Mercury, the planet of messages, the planet of the mind, the planet of communication. And Mercury will be in a square to Pluto as it turns retrograde tomorrow. And to me, that is about new rhetoric, new messages, new communication coming up. And, this is going to be, I think the influence here of Mercury is such that it's acting like that little mosquito, that little buzz, that voice, the little devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other, both whispering at you to do something or to be something or to go somewhere. So we may have that experience because a square is also a challenge. So Mercury's challenging Pluto in some ways. And, it's like poking the bear. Right? Poking the bear. Pluto's a bear. And Mercury's the mosquito or the poker. So we might have some shifting things going on in our minds. We may have some very interesting conversations going on. I don't know about you guys, but yesterday there was some speech that the president here in this country gave about opening the body to light and disinfectant. And maybe that would create a healing. I don't know. The look on the doctor's face that was sitting there was priceless, as she was probably likely going to vomit because of the idiocy of what he was saying. But on the other hand, as I was thinking about how that was worded, I was like, maybe he is onto something, not about the disinfectant and injecting that into people, but about bringing in the light. I would never have thought in a million years I would hear those words out of the president of the United States, any president of the United States or of any country for that matter, bringing in the light. So maybe there was something there. He unconsciously is telling us a telescopic message coming from Mercury, poking the Pluto bear, asking us to change and transform in some way. And literally do not take at face value the idea of injecting yourself with disinfectant. But wasn't it only yesterday we were having the conversation about cleansing and purifying, right? What was that conversation all about, right? Ceres, the goddess, the mother goddess, moving into Pisces, giving us all this opportunity to cleanse, to purify, to detox. And he enters into these words. So he's speaking Ceres, he's speaking Pluto, he's speaking Mercury, in his very inept way, yes, but for those of us who are in the know, we could take that information and go, we get it, right? We need more light. We need to bring in the light so that it can shine out of us, and we need to disinfect, i.e. purify, detoxify our inner landscape. And so for those of you who are listening, that does not mean I agree that we should inject bleach into ourselves. No, it's more the metaphor of that purifying, cleansing, and bringing in the light. So isn't it interesting, right? So, okay, we have a president that unconsciously is connected to the cosmos. I like that. So Sue does not have any natal planets there. Cool, you are sort of in the clear. That doesn't mean that you won't be more introspective than usual or more in need of integrating the new energies, but for you, it may not be as dramatic because maybe you're already used to doing that. Angela says it's her 5th house, creativity, children, and fun. Interesting. So what's transiting there? Or I mean, what's transforming there? What kind of phoenix is rising out of that experience? And oh, she says, I have North Node Aries in the 4th house at 28 degrees. Not quite, let's see, 28 degrees puts it at about 3 degrees outside of that, but it's a prick, it's a trigger to something about your destiny. So Angela, maybe you're rethinking about how your children should be raised, or about what kinds of things you want to teach them, or what kind of world do you want to create for them. So there could be a lot going on there. It's also the house of love and romance. It's also the house of taking risks. And the 5th house to me is one of the more interesting houses, because on the surface, it seems very benign, very sort of fun energy, because it's vacations, it's play, it's that youthful dynamic. But it's also the house where we need to take risks, where we become overly cautious or we become overly risk taking. So I always think of the 5th house as cautious risk taking. What's the word I always use? Maybe it is cautious risk taking. Because you don't want to stop yourself from trying the new things, but you also don't want to go so far too fast and find yourself falling down. So oh, I almost had it. I'm going to blurt it out in a few minutes. When I just blurt something, then you'll know it's about this 5th house. Terry, hi, you found me. Yay. Mimi says, yep, 45 is touting ridiculous ideas for scientists to look into. It is. It's a ridiculous idea. But if you look at the metaphysical meaning of what he's saying, now I have no illusions that he was, understanding the metaphysics of it all. But for those of us who can read the code, right, we got the code here. We get it. And Angela says, oh, Mars is in my 1st house. I was answering, about the 5th house. Gotcha. Okay. Sorry, Angela. I didn't mean to confuse you. All right. Let's see. Where do we want to go next? Any questions about Pluto or Pluto retrograde, or the planets that are involved with this? We'll, of course, be talking more about this over time, because these things are going to happen in real time and give us opportunities to bring up, there's a Pluto retrograde thing, and let's look at that. So questions, go ahead and put those in there. If not, I'm going to move on now to another topic, and that is today the moon is in Taurus. It is finishing its transit from the start of the new moon in there. And at 5:44 p.m. West Coast time today, the moon will move into the void and be there until 21 minutes after midnight. And then it will be changing signs from Taurus to Gemini. So what we have here then for you guys on the East Coast is from 8:44 p.m. tonight until 3:21 a.m. So literally this void, of course, will more likely affect our dreams and what's going on in our night, like in our unconscious mind, and how that might play out through your dream world. So I would expect maybe, especially those of you, to the more Eastern time zones where you're really in that deeper state of sleep at that point in time, for you to maybe have a dream journal handy to be able to take some notes. Because not only is there the void, which we can go deep into during our sleep at this point, we also have a sextile from the moon to Neptune today, as well as a trine to Pluto and Jupiter. So there are some very powerful forces that the moon will be triggering within us, within our psyches, but also maybe in our waking life as we move through the day today, finishing up the transit of Taurus and preparing then for what comes next with the moon moving into Gemini. So the Gemini moon, we can expect, affects us in areas of motion, learning, and anything to do with the mind, communication, logic, the idea of socializing and social skills, and relationships that are gauged by proximity. So for example, your neighbors, or your siblings, those kinds of people that are, not quite your personal relationship, but kind of the next level of those relationships. And that's all under the rulership of Gemini. So with a Gemini moon, we can expect that we are going to experience some different energies around movement. And I feel like this is going to be one of those weekends where we may be feeling the strain against those stay-at-home orders, or we may be, if you're in a state that gets relaxed, I believe there are a couple of states relaxing those orders today. You may be feeling a little bit fearful about doing that, or you may go overboard. If you are in one of those states, be wary, because Gemini is a very restless kind of energy. And if you're feeling that restlessness and you just go out and do whatever it is you want to this weekend, you may be paying for it later. So Gemini rules motion, but that doesn't mean that you have to go out into the world and experience motion. You can get into your car maybe, and as long as you're not interacting with a bunch of other people, what's the harm in just taking a bit of a drive or doing some exercise, getting on your bicycle, getting on your feet and taking a walk, right? Using motion energy brought up by the Gemini moon to exercise or to move your body. There's also the learning aspect of Gemini's energy with the moon that can see us maybe reaching out to learn something new, to the internet, to following our curiosity. I always like to call it pulling threads, where something piques my interest and I just keep pulling that thread to see where it leads, to see what new information I find, to see, what knowledge that it brings me, to just to be able to follow that curiosity, right? And the internet's perfect for that, right? Google something, anything, and see what kind of information it brings you, and then follow the threads. Don't just read one thing and take it for, sacrosanct truth. Look it up, do some due diligence, follow your curiosity to wherever it leads you. And maybe it's a great weekend to take a course in something, or to join in a webinar, or there's a lot of meditation groups that are doing weekend meditations, or weekly, daily even meditations. So join something that supports your inner knowledge, that is something that you want to learn coming up from within you. Communication, writing, speaking, listening, teaching, mental support, understanding different opinions, all of these things are the realm of Gemini as well. I think I told you guys that my husband and I wrote letters to our grandkids. It was just an idea I had that was born out of the postal service issue that was going on in our country. And I thought, one way to support the postal service is to write letters, right? I don't even pay my bills anymore by mail. I just go online and pay them. So I thought, oh, wow, there's less mail going through. So it is one of those things that we can do to support. And then I thought too, kids today who are sitting at home trying to learn, from in their new reality of education, they're in a better position to slow down themselves in this aspect. And wouldn't it be fun to show them the old-fashioned way of social networking, which was writing letters to one another, pen pals, right? So we wrote letters to our grandkids, and I can't wait. They should get them today. I can't wait to see what their reactions are, and I can't wait to see whether they take up the opportunity to write us back. But it would be a great weekend to do that, to write to your brothers, your sisters, your neighbors, your schoolmates, your roommates, communicate in ways old and new, but reach out and communicate, of course, keeping your 6-foot social distance. But that's the whole point, right? This whole idea of coronavirus has brought us these new ideas of ways that we can connect with one another without being in each other's faces. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, that we'll never go back to that, but isn't it funny how adaptable we are as human beings? Yeah, we'll go back to letter writing, or we'll use, Zoom, and we'll get together. We'll have parties. Tonight, we're going to do a karaoke party online, or through an app called Marco Polo, which is like a walkie-talkie, but it's video and sound. And on Friday nights, we do this with my brother and sister-in-law that live down in California. And it's fun, right? It's a new way to be together. So take advantage of all the different ways in which we can reach out and communicate with one another. Gemini also rules those overactive mind processes, let's call them, right? The mental processes. So for example, excessive questioning. I'm sure that as a child, I annoyed the hell out of my parents, because I remember distinctly sitting with a magnetic whiteboard in front of me with those, very colorful letters. and I would just put different letters together, and I'd ask my mom, what does that spell? And then if it spelled a word by magic, then I'd say, what does that mean? And I was always, what does that mean? What does that spell? What is that? What's going on? How does that work? So there is a point at which those excessive questions become overwhelming. So want to watch that. Superficiality is also a part of Gemini experiences. The moon in Gemini can be superficial, and it can also bring us nervousness and anxiety from the overthinking capacities that we have, right? So if you're too much in your head, maybe it's time to turn off the computer, turn off your phone, maybe go for a walk. This is Arbor Day, by the way, so happy Arbor Day, everyone. It would be a great antidote for you to your excessive mind going crazy and your nervousness to go out and hug a tree. Go out and hug the trees, right? They need your love, and they can love you back by helping to ground you so that you are not in that crazy mind space anymore. Also, Gemini in the body rules things like hay fever, right? So your lungs are a Gemini area. So there's a component there that, you know, triggers my interest when we look at the coronavirus and the worst symptoms being that of pneumonia and how it affects the lungs. And as soon as I heard that in the beginning, I was like, there's a Gemini connection, a Mercury conjunction, or a connection, not conjunction, that's going on within this disease process, because it does seem to overly affect the lungs. The nervous system is also a part of Gemini. So those nervousness, those nervous tics, all part of it. And then the hands, the wrists, the arms, and the shoulders are also a part of Gemini energy. So there we have that. I'm going to head over and look at the questions and see how people are doing there. Daily spiritual vlog. Hello, everyone. That was weird. It refused to show me you've been live. I don't know why, but hello to you and welcome. And Tom says Ramadan starts today too. Yes, it does. And there's also something mystically magical about this particular time. As we have the sun in Taurus and we move into late April and early May, all of May basically, we have this, it's like the Earth transits through a very sensitive part of the constellations or of the cosmos, and we see more effects on this planet. And sometimes they can be catastrophic things like earthquakes, and other times they can be absolutely wonderful experiences. But often they are also meteor strikes and things that come to us from outer space. There's an outer space connection here, and I've not had the time yet to follow that. Maybe that's one of those curiosity trails I'll follow. But it does remind me that one of the constellations that we talk about a lot here in the morning is the Pleiades. And the Pleiades are actually a constellation that sits within the constellation of Taurus. They form the eye of the bull. And I was going to see, let me see if I can go to Google really quickly here while I'm on air. I might even be able to find a picture of that for you. Pleiades in Taurus. Let's see what pictures I get, and I can share that on my screen. Oh, there's a very nice picture. Perfect. I love it when it pops up like this. And let's see, let me go to that picture. And now I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Here we go. So here is, oh, it's the heart of the bull. It's the heart of the bull. Here's the Pleiades star cluster, and there's our moon. And this is a chart of some day, December 28th, I don't know when, but I just wanted to show you that there is the bull, and we have the Pleiades that are in the sign of the bull. And the Pleiades, of course, is where a lot of wisdom hitting our planet via the Pleiadian-Earth energy calendar and the astrology that's associated with it. So this time of the year, when the sun is moving through Taurus, brings us closer to the energy of the Pleiades. So interesting there. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and go back. So speaking of the Pleiades and of the different things that we talk about in the morning, I don't know, Tom, that would be a great thing. Why don't you do that? You look that up for me this weekend about Taurus and Orion guarding the Seven Sisters, because I think that would be a really good thing. You research that and bring it back to us on Monday, and we'll talk about it. Now, Spiritual Vlog says Pleiades is important to Hawaii, referenced as the Makalili, and is associated with the time of winter. Interesting. So we have a lot of things we could look up about this. My interest in all of this is that this is a time of year that seems to be sacred. The first week in May brings us to Wesak and the celebration of the Buddha and the Christ energies or Christ consciousness. And so there's something sacred around this time of year. We also celebrate Beltane on May 1st, and it's a part of a spring celebration of renewal and fertility and hope for the future. And so something magical and mystical right around this time of year, that including Ramadan and others from other territories, other religions and beliefs. Hawaiians are from the Pleiades. And Laura Wolfberg says, whoa, I'm so Gemini too, June 16th. I'm June 19th. Tom's June 3rd. We have quite a few Geminis that meet us in the morning. I know there's others because there's others like Debbie Hedden, her birthday's the day before mine, and Angela Mather Keel, whose birthday is on my birthday. So we have a lot of people that are Geminis that watch the morning show here, as well as a lot of Libras. So something about those air signs that like to get this kind of information. I love that. All right, guys, now is the time to start entering in a little sentence that says, I want a reading. This morning, I have the Wisdom of the Oracle. I have the Animal Spirit cards. I have the Goddess cards, and I have dragons. There be dragons here. Dragons. So if you want to have a reading, it's the time to tell me that. And in the meantime, let's talk about, while I'm waiting for you guys to respond to that, let's talk about the energy of the Pleiadian day. Today is 7 being energy. And being energy is the first energy of the 20-day signs, if you will, the 20-day energies. And that in the Mayan calendar was Imish, the cosmic crocodile or the cosmic alligator, which really represented nurturing the new, right? Nurturing birth. So today is the day 7. So we're at that halfway point of our 13-day spiral of consciousness. And we are standing at a portal of creativity then. That means we're standing at that portal. Do we go backwards or do we move forward? Do we take everything that we've learned in these first 7 days of the week or the previous 6 days of the week, because we're in the 7th, and integrate that and add it to all that we know and create something new as we move forward, right? We're at that halfway point of that week. So we're integrating the lessons that we've learned. We're integrating the experiences that we've had and integrating them in order to see what more clearly are our next steps in this evolution of consciousness that we experience in these 13-day pulses of energy coming from the Pleiades or coming from the cosmos, let's say. So here's your opportunity today to set yourself up on a new path, to maybe clear some obstacles out of your way, to nurture the growth of whatever's new within you, right? We don't just plant it and walk away and never see it again. We plant it and we nurture it, we water it, we make sure it has sunshine, we pull the weeds away from it. What we do not do is dig it back up and look at those roots to see if it's growing. We nurture, but we don't smother. Nurture, not smother. And here is a time then we also have to watch out for some key things. We've already talked about some of these key things. We have to watch out for being needy. We have to watch out for being reactive or being overly critical, right? We don't need to be in that energy. We need to be in the nurturing energy, to helping people grow and expand, or helping our ideas take root and expand, helping those relationships that we're in to grow and expand. So there we have that. That's our Pleiadian-Earth energy for the day. Through the weekend, we'll go through the 8th day, which is the heart-to-heart connection day. And on Sunday, we'll be in the day 9, which is another day for harmonizing, bringing things into some sort of balance and harmony. On Monday, we'll see how well we've done, because Monday will be the 10, And the 10 is always that check-in point, right? Are we manifesting what we thought we would, or are things happening that we didn't think or we didn't expect? And that shows us where our mind has been at, where our mind and hearts have been aligned or misaligned. So that gives you sort of the idea of the next few days and what's coming. Okay, so Tom, wait, nope, I'm going back further. There is Angela, dragon card. I need a scribe. Angela, dragon, and Tom, animal and or dragon. Tom, animal or dragon. So we'll see if I feel like dragon or animal when I get to you. Mimi, card, your choice. I love it. And yes, daily spiritual vlog. You can't, by the way, this is Lily. Lily, love it. Okay, so I was writing daily spiritual Lily is what I just wrote. And Lily, what kind of card would you like? If you like a dragon or wisdom of the oracle, an animal, a goddess, or my choice, let me know. Allison would like a Woto. I love Woto too, one of my favorite decks. Sue says the Lakota worked with the Pleiadians. The Mayan civilization, I don't know that they knew that they were working with the Pleiadians, but I would bet you their wisdom came from the Pleiades, but I don't know enough about that. Brenda's upset. Brenda, why are you upset? I don't know why Brenda is upset, but Brenda, if you are, let me know. I don't know what that's all about. I did see a message that popped in from a Brenda about not finding me on Facebook, and that's because I've moved. I moved to YouTube because Facebook was just such a pain. Okay. Sue's a Libra, and we'll also take a reading. So Sue, I believe it's Sue, CR Bowles 56. I believe you are Sue McCarthy. I think I remember that from yesterday. So Laura Wolfberg would like a reading too. I love it. Okay, so we have enough readings, and don't feel like you can't ask for a reading still, but let's get going here. Dragon for Angela. And I love these dragons. Look at the dragons, right? Aren't they just adorable? And they are very profound, and they're making their presence felt on this planet like never before. They're entering people's dreams. They're entering people's, waking life through emails or just all kinds of different ways in which the experience of dragons has been coming to us. I get a deck of dragon oracle cards from my friend Debbie, and then I end up doing dragon readings. So for Angela, Earth and Air Dragon, it represents the perfect balance of heaven and earth. Let me show you this card. We have this beautiful Earth and Air Dragon. And at the bottom here, it says, stay balanced, ground your visions, manifest your hopes and your dreams. So let's see what guidance we can get from this dragon for you. Earth and air, like a combo, right? Angela, that reminds me, because I believe you're a Gemini air, and I believe you asked the question about your Mars in Capricorn or something in Capricorn, and that's Earth. So Earth and air dragon, maybe this will help you balance something, right? Page 26. Okay, so here's about your dragon. It's a fourth dimensional dragon. Brown and blue earth and air dragons breathe life force, hope, and vitality into our hopes and dreams while enabling us to ground them. They bring us into balance and harmony so that our visions can manifest in physical reality. To do this, we first picture our castle in the air and then ground it. These glorious dragons help us with the process. Here's your guidance, Angela. This card indicates it is the time to clarify your hopes and intentions. Ask the brown and blue earth and air dragons to illuminate your visions. Then ask them to help you take all the action necessary to bring those visions into physical reality. This will re-energize your life. These dragons also offer you assistance in rising above your challenges while remaining grounded in the beautiful vibration of Earth. They enable you to find the perfect balance so that your life can truly flow with grace and ease. So call on them now and ask them to help you understand the purpose of your life's lessons and see the highest good in all people and situations. As you see the lessons presented to you on your ascension pathway from a new perspective, your life will be filled with joy and purpose. Let the earth and air dragons breathe their life force into each of your 12 chakras and bring, what does that mean? 12 chakras and bring you into balance and harmony. It's just a misprint. Relax as they do, and this will and then you will have a new sense of calm and equilibrium as you walk your divine path. I love that. That's an awesome card for you. Okay, so that's our dragon for Angela. Tom, I think I'm going to pull a dragon for you as well, since I have them sitting here in front of me and they seem to be on task today. So this will be for Tom. And mix them up really good. These are still new, so they kind of stick together. Tom, Earth and Water Dragon, creates the foundation for new growth, and a fresh start is coming with new opportunities. Nurture your ideas and harvest the abundance. So here we go. This is your card, the Earth and Water Dragons. And I know that light sometimes shines on them, but look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so Earth and Water must be right after the Air and Earth. Indeed, Earth and Water is on page 30, so they're very close. Here we go. Okay, so here is about your dragon. And why is that there? Okay, fourth dimensional brown and green earth and water dragons bring the blessing of a new opportunity. They synchronize the energy and timing to ensure it blossoms. The element of earth enables us to ground our projects, while the element of water enables us to flow with them. When combined in the earth and water dragon, these are very auspicious qualities. When mixed together in the physical world, earth and water create mud, which is excellent for the growth of seeds. Here's your guidance, Tom. If you are planting a tree, you place its roots into the soil and make sure it has a good foundation. Then you activate its growth with water. In due course, you harvest the fruit. The more effort you put into providing the perfect conditions for the tree, the better the crop. This card is showing you this is a good time to create. With the gracious assistance of the earth and water dragons, you can lay a strong foundation for your future. Picking this card suggests it is time to start a new phase of your life. Fresh opportunities may be presenting themselves to you, so be ready to nurture any ideas or visions that come to you. The earth and water dragons will enable you to know intuitively what is right for you and to harness your creativity. They will help you to generate the right conditions to succeed, and they will motivate you to put in the necessary work, for this is an important step. And then you can harvest your abundance. Most importantly, they will help you to take things lightly. So listen to your inner wisdom. The time for action is now. Woohoo! That's a good card, Tom. I kind of like that one for you. Mimi wants a card, and Mimi, I at first thought I was going to do a goddess card for you, but somehow the wisdom of the oracle just leapt out at me. Leave you there. This is for you, Mimi. Get some wisdom here going. And truth be told is your card, Mimi, and it's upside down. So we have protection mode here. Truth be told is card number 14. It's our lovely little owl friend. Look at his little face. I love it. Okay, so I know I'm weird. I can't help myself. 14 is your card number, which is a 5. Maybe some change coming. 14 in protection. Truth be told, right? Where are you being dishonest with yourself or others? If you're unhappy in any area of your life, look for signs of denial. This can also pertain to others being misleading or withholding or acting from hidden agendas. Now is the time to say no to dishonesty in all forms. Ask for the truth, even if you don't like what you hear. Acknowledging it will be a key to a beautiful new future where you no longer labor under the heavy burdens that deceit and denial impose on you. Set yourself free. Nothing less than truth is required now. That is a very good message too. So, whoops, this way. He was upside down, but there you go. That was for you, Mimi. And let's see, who's next after Mimi is Lily. Lily. I'm feeling dragon for you, Lily. I started to say animal, but then dragon. Dragon for Lily. Oh, here we go, Lily. Earth and fire dragon. So we've had earth and air, earth and water for Tom, and now we have earth and fire for you, Lily. And it says, this works with you to clear the fifth dimension ley lines. It's time for service. When you give, you receive. So earth and fire dragon works with you to clear the fifth dimensional ley lines. So there's your dragon. Look at that. Spectacular. Okay, let's see what this means. I don't think we've had this dragon appear before. Earth and fire dragon, page 32. Okay, and here is about your dragon, Lily. Shimmering fourth dimensional blue and orange air and fire dragons are very vocal. They love to express themselves and make their presence known. They often create turbulence as they swirl around us. Air mixes with fire to ignite an explosion of creativity, enthusiasm, and aliveness. These dragons make us feel happy, excited, and sometimes a little unsettled or even overwhelmed. At the same time, the element of fire transmutes lower energies and clears the path of our destiny, while air enables us to communicate our passion at a soul level. Here's your guidance, Lily. Choosing this card indicates it is time to harness your gifts and talents for your highest good and that of the world. You have something in your soul to bring forward. So your guidance is to decide what fires your enthusiasm, then trust your inner wisdom and talk about it. Take a chance and step onto your true path of happiness and creativity. Remember that excitement and passion are magnetic qualities and will draw the right people and situations to you. This card can also suggest that circumstances may present themselves to you in which you will be required to make a rapid decision using your intuition and discernment rather than logic. The air and fire dragon who has come to you is telling you to trust yourself. You have all you need to make the right choice. With your air and fire dragon beside you, success is ensured. Well, that is a very powerful card. And Allison, Wisdom of the Oracle. This card is for you. And I'm going to check back on YouTube here quickly. You're welcome. Always questing for truth. Love that, Mimi. Wow, Sue, really? Dragon beings? I love it. Okay. So air and fire, not earth and fire. Ooh. Earth and fire. Does that mean I just read the wrong one? Hold, please. Wrong book. Guess what? I'm going to have to redo this for you because I just read the wrong one. This was an earth and fire dragon, not the other one. So my apologies to you. Lily, I think it was you, right? So let me go back here and show you again. This is for you, Lily. Earth and fire dragon. So isn't that funny? I read one, but I was looking at the other one. So about this card. So maybe there was meant to be both for you in this case. So this is a card of service for the fourth dimensional brown and orange earth and fire dragons are calling on us now to help them clear and light up the new ley lines of our beautiful planet. The original ley lines were called dragon lines, for they were maintained by the dragons of old. Now, a new fifth dimensional ley line system is being placed into the earth to carry golden Christ energy and prepare the planet for the new golden age. The dragons of earth and fire move through these lines, creating a path of light through which the higher love frequencies can flow. Here's your real guidance, even though I think the other one was also some guidance for you. Humbly invoke these dragons and have a sense of power of the flaming orange fire combined with the grounding brown earth. Reach out a hand to touch the dragons, then visualize earth being crisscrossed with lines of golden light. Picture these dragons anchoring this golden Christ energy wherever there are sacred places on the globe. Mentally place a golden flame at each of these sacred portals until you sense our planet lighting up. Whenever you are out walking or driving, ask the magnificent earth and fire dragons to travel along the ley lines below you. Wow, bring the Christ light down through you so that they can distribute it where it is most needed. When you give, you receive. The earth and fire dragons will illuminate the challenges on your route, and as soon as you have acknowledged them, they will dissolve them. This will smooth your path. It will also allow you to step lightly into your role as a master as the new golden age approaches. I see both of these cards are pretty awesome for you in terms of one, maybe it's time for you to step out and start to speak about your wisdom and Christ consciousness and dragons and ley lines and such. Okay, so I apologize for the mix up there, but I think it's like perfect. Okay, Allison and Woto. I'm glad I checked back and read that. Oh, wow. Did you see that jump out there, Allison? This is for you. It's go the distance, but it was in protection mode, so it was upside down. It is our cheetah racing for the finish line, card number 47, which is an 11. So we have the number of illumination. So let's see what this card means for us. And it was in protection mode, right? So we'll read that. But the basic meaning of the card is endurance, strength, and the long haul. And it says, do you feel as if you've been wandering in the desert now for ages and ages and nothing is happening? When you conjure up the image of a desert, you picture parched lips, sunburned skin, and mirages. But there is more to it than that. Amid the hot sands are creatures with resilient spirits, tough skins, and the willingness to burrow deep underground for water so that they may thrive. This is a time of developing survival skills and resilience. You are learning how to conserve your strength, and in this temporary time of austerity, it's wise to be selective about where you expend your energy. Listen to the call of your soul because it will never lead you astray. This is an important time for letting go of what's not important. So that's our cheetah card for you, Allison. And Sue, you are next. I'm assuming it was you, Sue, the CR Bowls 56 moniker. And yeah. Okay, I don't remember, Sue, what kind of card you wanted. I stumbled across your YouTube video about the dragon beings. So I'm going to draw you a dragon card. How about that, Sue? How about that? Okay. Let's see what dragon is guiding Sue here today. And I had the wrong cards in there. Sometimes on my desk they can get mixed up, but they're not. Okay, Missy, you have the Earth Dragon, the just plain Earth in this case. And this one says, clears your path and the land around you. Stay grounded, be ready to serve. Stuck energy is clearing and you can move forward in life. And here is the card for you. Get it in the perfect light here. Earth Dragon. Love the colors. Okay, so let's see what that is about. Oh, I opened right up to it. Okay, Earth Dragon is a fourth dimensional dragon. Our fourth dimensional Earth dragons are brown, the color of the soil. They love the planet and the land itself. It was these sturdy dragons who helped to build the original dragon lines that we now call ley lines. We have a connection to the reading from before. Part of their service work is to travel along them to clear them when asked to do so. When we send an instruction to the Earth dragons to work with the ley lines, they can power away under the surface to clear any blockages. This impacts hugely on people and situations in the vicinity. They can also help to ground us and our mission in this life. And here is your guidance, Sue. It is time to clear unwanted energies that are preventing your life from moving forward. Some of these may be in the earth, under your home or office, or where you travel. Call on the Earth dragons and ask them to remove all that is not in accordance with divine light. Then sense the frequency rising within the land and on your path. This card also suggests you may be called on to do planetary service work as the earth dragons will take the opportunity to cleanse any ley lines you focus on. Take a moment to direct them to clear the planetary grid and visualize the grid glowing and shimmering. When you walk, think of the earth dragons and connect with them through the earth. Ask them to ground you and your vision, for this card signifies that they are now boosting your spiritual journey and you are ready to fly. Notice the progress you are making. That's a pretty cool card, Sue. All right. And Laura Wolf, which I love that last name. I think I'm going to draw a spirit animal card. Does that sound too cliche? But that's the first one that drew my attention for you. So Laura Wolf, this is for you. And I'll crack up if I draw the wolf card. It's never happened, but surprises happen often with these cards. And what was it? Last week we had the white raven. Ooh, dolphin spirit. And here we go. So we see the dolphin, and it was in protection mode. So we'll read that. It's card 20, which is a relationship. And this is this and that are true. This and that are true. So card 20. And we're going to read the protection message because it was upside down. Okay. When you most want to be acknowledged as right and see other ways as wrong, Dolphin Spirit appears as a reminder that the story of your suffering and righteousness is a little more complicated than you are admitting right now. Do you want to see things in black and white and be rigid in your ideas of what's correct and what is not? Release your rigidity and embrace the fluidity of life as you recognize that the grays that remind you there are two sides to every story, an upside to each downside, and a blessing in every challenge. What you think is wrong may end up being right for you. So let Dolphin Spirit soften your heart so that you make the best decision at this time, playing with the possibilities that present themselves. So see the gray. See the gray. Look at all the different colors that play in the gray here of this dolphin. You see the blues, the pinks, the sparkles of the water, right? So play in the gray, not the black and the white. Okay. Black and white is interesting because there's actually a gate of sort of this black and white energy that people have in their human design. So we all have all of the human design, and gate 49, which is sitting hanging, or is a gate that hangs on the solar plexus, the emotional center, is a gate where sometimes we have to be reminded to see the gray, right? To see that there is more than just black or white. And often that seeing of black and white, or whatever the right and wrong, etc., that can create the revolution, the rebellion that happens in the gate 49 sometimes. So sometimes we have to see the black, sometimes we have to see the white, but it also helps for us to see all of the colors in between, right? All right, guys, I think that's it for me today. Let me go back here and make sure I didn't miss something. Yes, that's me. Sue says, great. Oh, perfect. Perfect. I love it when the cards are so right on. You got to just love these cards. Okay. Well, that is it for me today. I hope all of you have a spectacular weekend. Enjoy it no matter what it is that it brings to you. There could be some ups and downs. What I also forgot to tell you about was the sun in conjunction to Uranus. That means expect the unexpected, right? Expect maybe something very positive and very highly enjoyable, but it could also be some things that we just didn't expect. So don't worry about it. Just be happy, right? All right, guys, take care. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Bye for now.